Hello, this is Sharpshot21. The following first ride compilation was shot while I was living out in Utah, searching for a new bike, and I was unable to get any of the cinematic shots that I wanted to do for opening intros, and I just kind of decided to stick them all together as one video. I did start off each segment with a side-on photo of each motorcycle, not necessarily the one I rode, but same make, model, color. Hope you guys enjoy. Please hit like, please hit subscribe if you do. Leave a comment down below if you've got any questions or just want to say hi. As always, ride safe and keep the rubber side down. And I'll see you next time. Alright, my name is Sharpshot21, and I'm doing a test drive here on a CBR500R. See how we like it. In the market for a bit of a new bike. Got three we're going to test drive here today, starting with this guy. We've got the CBR500R that I'm on right now, a CBR650F. Both of these bikes are being, I'm test driving them from Moto-United here in St. George, Utah. And so far, I'm liking this little bike here. Throttle's pretty responsive. Gears nicely. Not too big a fan of the display. But that's more just because it's lacking a gear indicator, which I'm used to. Bike's pretty light, all things considered. Turn signal's right where I want them, which is nice. Let's see. Standard on off. We do have hazards, it looks like. Non-self-canceling turn signals. But I'd be impressed if a bike this size had one. I'm gonna scoot over here, and I think I want to head down the boulevard here. First gear's a little grabby, but that's kind of to be expected. First gear's usually grabby. The response is pretty decent. I like the speedometer and the gauge cluster in general. Just the fact that it's missing a gear indicator is a little annoying in this day and age, but can't have everything. The bike's nice and light. Moves where I want it to, when I want it to. Don't have to force it anywhere. Mirrors are not the greatest, but they're not horrible. I can see behind me on both of them. Engine braking's not bad, even in second or third. Just allowed to do a short little test drive on this guy. Trying to think what else. And she kind of purrs, a little bit of a whistle. Nothing. I mean, it's a standard Honda sound. It really is. Stock exhaust. About that. Then again, I'm a little twitchy about getting back on the bike in general here. We shall see how that goes, though. That car is an idiot for merging right there, but that's just me. Wind on the highway isn't terrible. I'm getting buffeted a little bit, but if I duck down some, it's about the same. Bike doesn't move around as much as the FZ07 did on the highway. Cuts through the wind a little bit better, being a sweet bike. Don't get me wrong, again, I love the FZ07. Fantastic bike. That's why I got it when I got out here. But this guy at 60 isn't bad. I'm doing 60 because I got this work going up front and these two semis that I don't feel like tangoing with. So I might feel like moving over here in a minute, just due to the rumble strips. I don't know. Final thoughts on the on the CBR? Nice bike, fun bike. Definitely worth considering. Riding position's not bad. I'm fairly upright, and then again, I'm a fairly tall dude, so not surprised there. Trying to be a little gentle with these guys, just because not my bike. The thing's got 37 miles on it, and I've just put several of those on. I think it was at 27 when we started here. Yeah. Wrap this one up here and pulling back into Moto-United. And we'll pick this back up on the CBR650F. And we're still riding a bike from Moto-United. This is a Honda CBR650F. It's a nice little bike so far. Just got on, I shouldn't say little, it is a 650. So, fair amount of power, fair amount of get up and go. First thing I'm noticing is I'm not quite the biggest fan of the mirrors. They're kind of in an awkward spot. And the sitting position on this one is not quite as nice as the last one. So there is that. Blinkers are right where I'd expect them to be, but then again, this is a Honda. And they use the same, pretty much, control stalks for everything. Leans nicely, feels like it wants to fall right over, which is nice, but it stands right back up when you tell it to. So that's good. It's nice that it is differentiated blinkers. Gauge cluster is decent. It's got the tach and the speedo on one side. Sadly, it just has the fuel, mileage, and clock on the other side. Again, no gear indicator from Honda here. A little bit different noise out of this bike. Then again, it does have an undertail on it. And it is, I think, a 3-cylinder on this one. I could be fairly comfortable on this bike, I think, but it's a little bit further forward than I'm used to on bikes. And again, I'm used to more upright bikes between my starter bike, which was a CBR250, so you can imagine that one, and this guy, or on that, the F07, which was fairly upright given it's a naked, and the last bike had a little bit more of an upright position. This one is definitely a little bit further forward than that. Throttle response is pretty decent. Clutch is, it's a standard Honda clutch. At least from what I can tell so far, they all feel about the same to me. Engages right where you want it to, disengages right where you think it should. The bike certainly is maneuverable enough. Don't you dare. And yeah, I don't know, so far this bike is certainly doable. I wouldn't get it in this color, but that's just me. I'd probably get the white and blue one with the ABS. This one does have ABS. I don't remember if the 500 does. I'll note it in the video. It's just nice to have ABS on a motorcycle. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know. I would think it would be nice to have ABS on a motorcycle. Not having ridden a motorcycle with ABS on it yet, I don't know. I don't feel a whole lot of slop in the throttle. Again, bike seems to go right where you tell it to go. Nice little G-Wagon right there. Certainly has no problem getting up and going when you tell it to. But feels almost a little bit windier. I can't quite tell. Then again, a little bit less coverage on the fairings, it feels like, from this guy. A little bit lower windshield. And the windshield, if you can see it, isn't quite attached to the front of the fairing at all points. It just kind of floats there. So you're going to get a little bit more wind out of that. She goes right over in a lane. Engine braking is decent. Get on the brakes a little bit here, or not. Bike doesn't feel too wide. And again, as I said last time, I'm fairly tall at 6'6". Suspension's pretty good. And just seeing what we got here. There's a monochrome instrument cluster. Visibility is not terrible during the daylight. I'd be curious to see what it looks like at night, but that's not going to happen. You scared the crap out of me, sir. That was one of those, fuck, not again moments. So I really don't feel like getting... I don't know, thoughts on this bike, wrapping it up as we're getting back towards Moto-United. It's a good little bike. It's certainly fun. Certainly got a decent sized engine in it. I mean, it is 650-ish cc's. Seat's fairly comfortable. Forgot to mention that about the last one. The seat wasn't bad. Not sure I'd want to do a whole lot of long distance stuff on it, but it's decent. Taking me a little while to get used to this bike. I don't know, maybe something about the number 650 intimidates me a little bit, but I don't feel like it's that bad. Certainly something I could get fairly used to fairly quickly. I want to get like an anti-gravity windscreen for it, and definitely some shorty levers. But I want to get shorties for anything I get, so that's kind of a moot point. I might probably change the windscreen on just about everything I get, just so it's a little taller. This bike and the last bike, though, definitely would get gear indicators, just because I like seeing what gear I'm in. I know I should remember what gear I'm in, and I've driven stick for a while on cars. My current car is a Tiptronic, but I drive it in stick a fair amount. The thing with that one is it shows you what gear you're in. The thing with all the cars I've driven that are stick is I can tell what gear it's in if I put my hand on the stick. Motorcycle, not quite as easy to do. It doesn't quite behave the same way. As such, gear indicator. This one's got a couple of good spots, the other one did too. I don't know. Brakes are good. I like the undertail, or the under engine exhaust. I guess it's kind of an undertail. It's under the swing arm. Yeah, kind of my thoughts on this bike. Comfortable, nimble, needs a gear. Here at Moto-Zoo Power Sports, test driving the 2016, I believe it is, Yamaha R3. I'm going to give this a quick little test drive here, see what we got. Tiny little bike, that's for sure, but I'm okay with that. And engine brakes pretty decently, so long as you're not doing something stupid. Third gear's not bad. Now I might have to go mess around with the dash here for a second, because we're in KPH instead of MPH. Not sure anyone noticed that at the dealership. It is a nimble little bike. Though tiny, that's alright. Again, as I said, I don't care much. Turn signal isn't quite where I'd like it. Sticks out a little bit in a weird way, but that's okay. Gauge clutch is nice, does have a gear indicator, which is something I like to see. In this day and age, you should be able to find a gear indicator on your bike and not have to install it. Spot. Mirrors again aren't bad, but they're not quite the way I'd prefer them. Engine's got a nice little sound to it. She engine brakes nicely. They must have just pulled this thing out of the box. We have an engine temp gauge. Fuel gauge, which is really nice to have. I think the other two had a fuel gauge. Trip meter, gear indicator. It even has a passing light, which I believe the other two had as well. Teeny tiny bike, feels nice. Gonna take a little bit of getting used to. Rev's fairly high, almost 12.5 before you hit the rev limiter. little bit of a whine, but that is from a parallel twin. Kind of vibrating, but nothing huge. Suspension's not too bad on it. It's a little stiff, but that's okay. I probably need to adjust it a little bit for me. Try to drop it down a little bit, keep the revs low, just for the brake in here. Very flickable bike. This is the graphite gray coloring. It's also offered in a red and white and a silver and blue. I don't think this model is available with ABS, but I'm not sure. There's a 6-speed. Single gear or single blinker indicator, but that's okay. Let's see. Other than that, we got a neutral light, high beam light, check engine light, oil light, standard controls. It looks like I might want to rotate this one a little bit, just because I'm going to hit that a lot if I was to get this bike. Size-wise, we're not doing too bad, actually. Idles at about 1.5. Gets up there pretty quick, but that's not unusual for a small one like this. Seating position's fairly upright. Suspension's not bad. You can definitely tell it's a 300. After riding the 700 for a while, it is glaringly obvious. That this is a 300. It's pretty good for a beginner bike. And I might pick it up. I'm not quite sure yet, though. Yeah, I don't quite know if I want to go this far back down the scale. It's a fun little bike, that's for sure. Affordable as all get out, which is nice. And I usually just do running around town. If I can get her up to 65-ish, I don't think I'd have too much of an issue. I don't foresee any reason why she couldn't get up that fast, but that's just me. I do know this bike tops out at around 110, 115-ish. And third gear at 5 grand gets us 30. And she's still in the break-in, and you're supposed to kind of ride these bikes kind of high. So that's understandable. And I was mostly in 6th at my last 250 class bike. It corners phenomenally. It's very light. Just 6 gear, 5 grand gets me 50. And she doesn't accelerate hugely fast, which again is fine for a little starter bike. I think I might want something with a little more grunt than this. I just don't know quite yet. And since the speed limits out here are so high, and then people go on extra 10 or so over the speed limit generally, I think I might want a little bit of a bigger bike. I mean, apparently there's some power at the top end of this thing. I just don't want to open it up that much because, again, she's not mine. And she's got all of 8 miles on it. It feels pretty similar to my 250, my CBR500R that I started on. And that's fine. Don't get me wrong, I love that little bike. I just think a little bit more is required for out here. And given how hard you gotta rev this thing to get anywhere, I'm not sure this is the right bike. It's fun, it's light, it's flickable. I mean, it is a very nice little package. It's just, you need a little bit more. Wind protection is great, I will say that.